You're listening to Don't IEP Alone with special education advocate Lisa Lightner. For more information about Lisa, the IEP Toolkit, and more ways we can help you in your process, go to adayinourshoes.com. Now back to the show with your host, Lisa.
Hello and welcome. I'm Lisa Lightner, and this is a special edition of Don't IEP Alone that I am publishing on a Friday because it is not only a football Friday, it is a Super Bowl Friday. And I wanted to get this published, before the Super Bowl. And I want to see how it ages, right? Because I am wearing my Eagles Autism Foundation t-shirt today. Saving my other Eagles gear for the weekend. And the Eagles are relevant to what I'm going to talk about today. Earlier in the week, I did a Facebook Live with attorney Laura Hennigan, and I may put that up. Maybe I already did put it up as a podcast episode. I can't even remember anymore. It's been such a crazy week. And that's another thing I want to talk about, right? So we are now sitting here. It is just shy of, 3 weeks since the inauguration, or 2.5 weeks, whatever. And things are really happening at a frenetic pace. And there's all kinds of craziness going on with, of course, Elon Musk has his people in, excuse me, I have dog hair in my mouth. That's lovely. Elon Musk has his people in hard drives and these young kids in the U.S. Treasury, which is kind of a scary thought. And before everybody goes, oh, no, he's not doing that. Like, he's not denying it. So don't deny it. He's not. So there's that. Hundreds of thousands of government workers have been furloughed at this point, or offered the chance to be furloughed, including tens of thousands of nurses at the VA, which is a little peculiar because there's a nursing shortage everywhere. In particular, I read that 80% of VA facilities are not adequately staffed. So why we're offering these people a buyout package is unusual. And anyway, just all this other crazy stuff, right? There's all these rumors about that he's going to put an executive order out to abolish the U.S. Department of Ed and all these other things. So there's a lot going on. And so for that, I want to say, everybody take a deep breath. We all need to do this. And sometimes I say these things out loud for myself as much as I do for all the people who are emailing me, DMing me on social media and saying like, what do we do? What can we do? What can we do? Okay. First of all, take a deep breath. Second, we need to focus on, all this stuff is happening at such a frenetic pace, and it's on purpose. It's designed to frustrate you, get you to tune out, overwhelm you, make you feel like there's so much going on that you can't make any impact. So why even bother trying? And none of that is true. We do have a voice. There are a lot more people who disagree with this than agree with it, right? Like this whole VA nurse thing, like, what happened to support the troops, right? Like, that's not cool. And the Back the Blue crowd, and they're, hey, back the blue. And yet we're pardoning people who literally killed cops on January 6th. So he's the least popular president in history as far as the first couple of weeks of his term. So you are not alone by any means. All the promises that were made are not promises kept. Yesterday out near Pittsburgh, there was a theft. People actually literally stole a truckload of eggs. Like, that's how bad it is, right? Like, people are, promised lower egg prices. And not only do we not have cheaper eggs, but they're literally being stolen right now, which is insane. But anyway, pace yourself. Think about what your one or two issues is going to be going forward. For me, it's education and healthcare. It doesn't mean that I don't care about the immigration issue. It doesn't mean that I don't care about all these other things that are going on. I absolutely do. But none of us can care about all the things all the time. And we will burn out if you don't pace yourself and say, okay, I'm just going to have to trust that the people who are truly passionate about immigration are going to speak up and mobilize and act. And the people who are passionate about LGBTQ issues are going to mobilize and act. And the same, for climate and everything else. And that's not to say if there's not a big activism day, if there's a big climate day and everybody says you see these climate change activists saying, for one day we want everybody to call and email their people about this. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to participate in those things. I absolutely will. But as far as following closely to what's happening and acting and continually acting and advocating and lobbying and reaching out and calling, I'm going to keep it to healthcare, Medicaid, ACA, and education. I would encourage you to do the same. What is really important to you and where can you make a difference? The other thing is when there's so much going on and it feels like there's so much to do and so much to overcome, we often look at the mountain in front of us and say, I can't climb that mountain. And we're so busy worrying about climbing that mountain that we forget to look at the mountains behind us that we've already climbed. So I encourage you to turn around, look at those mountains that you've already climbed. And most of the people here who are listening to this right now, you have a disabled child. And that means you have moved a whole lot of mountains already. And remind yourself of that because you have done a lot. Please choose healthy coping mechanisms. As someone who has been very outspoken about women and alcohol and the dangers and how bad it is for our health, and even 1 or 2 drinks increases your chances of getting breast cancer by 20%. There's no safe amount of alcohol. Women are much more likely to develop drinking problems than men. And I could go on and on and on about that. But please develop healthy coping mechanisms. As someone who chooses to abstain from alcohol, I understand the pull sometimes. And lately it's just man, I would really like to just sit down with a glass of wine right now. But that's not a healthy coping mechanism. So, walk with a neighbor, which is something I started doing a while back, which is just I think it's just done tremendous things for both of our mental health, me and my friend Tony. And we really look forward to our walks each day. Working out, reading a book, knitting, crocheting, painting, drawing, cooking, right? Find a healthy coping mechanism because these are stressful times, and let's acknowledge that. Which brings me to my next point, which is protect your peace. If you have people in your orbit who are going to laugh at you and put laughing emojis and call you soft and okay snowflake and all the other things that, be mad or cry harder. You know what? I just don't, Hillary was right. They're just deplorable. That's just not a nice way to act. Who does that? And I'm going to remove you from my space because I don't need you in my space. You can have your own political views if you want, but if you're going to do it by mocking and dismissing me, then no, I don't have time for you. You can go fuck yourself. Literally, that's how I feel about it. And I have removed almost all of these people from my Facebook friends list and everything else. And I just don't even acknowledge them anymore, because if you're going to actively work against my child, then you're not for me. You're just not. And I'm not going to apologize for that. I'm going to protect my peace and I'm going to protect my family. Focus on what you can control. Fretting, hand wringing, pearl clutching, all these things that are going on day to day, because there is a lot of crap going on. Think about what you can control. And that is, I can't control what's going on in DC, and I can't control what all of these people are doing. But what I can do is focus on providing for me and my family. I can focus on protecting my own assets. I can focus on calling my legislators, both federal, all federal, state, and local, and voicing my opinion. And don't forget to also call the people that you agree with and the people who you disagree with. Call the people that you agree with and thank them for supporting your cause. And the people who you don't agree with, don't forget to call and email them as well, frequently. Not so frequently that you look like a Looney Tunes, but once or twice a month is, I think, reasonable. Now to the Eagles. in my next point. Shortly after all this stuff started happening, we had the NFC Championship game, which the Eagles won, of course. And so they're going to the Super Bowl. And I remember that like they won the NFC Championship game, and then that Monday or Tuesday, like all this crazy stuff's happening. And I was just like, I had this thought for a moment that I was like, man, it just sucks that like all this is happening right now and the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl and I can't even enjoy it because all this other shit's going on. And then almost instantly I was like, you know what? No, fuck that. Like, you are not going to steal my joy. Like, I am not going to miss out on all the fun that happens in the city when you're going to the Super Bowl. And it's everything from like, Kevin's been making craft projects at school related to it, and they've been coming home, art projects, craft projects, whatever you want to call it. There's just a lot of fun stuff on TV. There's a lot of fun and interesting news stories going on, you know, that kind of are tied into the Super Bowl. When I was in Wegmans the other day, I think I put it on Instagram. People were like randomly breaking into the Eagles fight song. Everywhere you go, like I was in Center City yesterday with Kevin at an appointment, and just like there's just like Eagles stuff everywhere. And he and I were both wearing green Eagles shirts, and I think 3 or 4 times, people just are like, go birds, fly Eagles fly, you know, and things like that. Like, people are just nicer to each other, and we enjoy each other. And we were sitting in an office building, a medical office building, waiting for his appointment. And we were sitting near the entrance to where you went for the restrooms. And this elderly gentleman walked past and with a walker. And he had on a green Eagles shirt. We were wearing Eagles shirts, and saw him go in. When he came out, he looked at us, and I said, "Hey, go Birds." And he looked and he smiled and he said, "Go Birds." Like he was there, you know, he obviously had some kind of aphasia going on that he struggled to speak, but like, even still, like, he wanted to say "Go Birds." You know what I mean? Like, it's just so nice in a city like that. So don't let anybody steal your joy. Enjoy the birthdays, enjoy whatever it is in life that makes you happy that you would be doing right now. And even though all this darkness is kind of settling over our country, it doesn't mean that we can't enjoy the things that we're supposed to enjoy. So please don't let anyone steal your joy like that. Least of all them. Like, they're disgusting. They are deplorable. They really are. They're just mean, nasty, angry people. And a lot of them. And there's just no other way to describe it at this point. You just don't carry on going around the internet, carrying on the way they do, and just like being mean to people, like everywhere you go. Like, what kind of existence is that? Like, I almost feel sorry for them. Like, it's just so sad that that's their existence, is just going around being mean to people. Like, that's all they literally do all day, every day on social media, which brings me to my next point and last point before I sign off for today. And that is, in addition to pacing yourself, make sure that your advocacy is meaningful and not performative. Okay. Most social media advocacy is performative. You're not changing anyone's mind. It only makes you feel better. Usually, like, it's kind of like an ego stroke on our part to correct someone, or that need to be right, even if you are right and you do have facts on your side. Like, I just posted something this morning about how the biggest group of people that have benefited from DEI initiatives are white women. And that's just a fact. That's the data there. It's been studied, and it's been studied for decades. And white women are the biggest beneficiaries from all these DEI programs. A lot of people don't know that. So I put that on, and like, one woman literally replied with, "I don't believe this." Like, well, if you're committed to not learning and not engaging with the truth and saying like, let me look this up for myself, and I provided sources. But if you're committed to saying like, I'm not going to believe this no matter what, like there's no helping you. And so me arguing with you on social media is not a good use of my time. So, and that also kind of fits in with the protect your peace. If people are committed to not listening and misunderstanding you, let them. You can make change. Social media can be a useful tool in advocacy. You present the facts, hey, please call our governor. Here's the number. Please call our senators. Here's the numbers. And then, let it go. If people are just going to be committed to not, it's comfortable for them to not challenge their thinking. And I'm not perfect, but at the same time, I do investigate like, oh, okay, well, they said this, so let me go take a look at that. And so far, I haven't found anything to kind of change my mind about. If anything, I would say I'm in agreement with removing DEI programs because they're not doing what they were intended to do. Disabled people have not really benefited from these, and especially Black disabled people. So the catch there, I guess, would be that this removal and the removing federal support from DEI programs, there's of course no intentions of replacing them. And if it was me in charge, but I'm not, I would remove them, but put them back in a more meaningful way because they're not working as they're intended. So like, that's one thing that they're kind of right about. If that makes any sense, if I'm saying that right. Because they haven't really helped Black and Latino and disabled people. It's helped white women, which needs help, right? Women in the workplace do need help, but we need to help everybody. So where was I going with this? I feel like I kind of got way off track. But anyway, so like I said, present the facts, present your action item of what you want people to do, and then let them be wrong. Just let them be wrong. But I don't have to. You can be wrong on your page. I don't have to let you be wrong on my page. I'm not obligated to entertain your falsehoods. I'm just not. So anyway, listen, I have to go teach Don't IEP Alone Academy, which we've been having some fantastic discussions this year. So definitely take a look if you haven't already, if you're interested in joining. But other than that, I hope to see you at our regular time next Tuesday.
Thank you for listening to Don't IEP Alone with Special Education Advocate Lisa Lightner. We're so glad you've joined us and would love to connect with you outside of the show. For more information about Lisa, the IEP Toolkit, and more ways we can help you in your process, go to adayinourshoes.com. From self-care tips to common IEP mistakes, there's even more to explore. Don't forget to rate and review the podcast and subscribe to never miss an episode. Until next time, don't IEP alone. And you don't have to.